Hello everybody, this is the Vikstrand. Today we are going to talk about release years for movies. Some years are good years, some years are bad years. For instance, 1998, absolutely horrible. 2015, fantastic. 94, good. 90, bad. And so on and so on and so on. The best year for movies, however, in the history of recorded time was 1997. The second best year, however, was 2016. 2 years ago didn't look too good on paper. They didn't have any, real barn burners ready to deliver, but somehow, inexplicably, the 2016 movie year was amazing. And today we're going to take a look at the 10 best. This is going to be one of the greatest lists I will ever do. This is the 2016's 10 best movies. Hit it! Now, the rules are, of course, as the rules always go when it comes to movie lists with specific years. We have all genres, all countries, but the original release has to be 2016. Everybody clear? Good, let's move on. Honorable mentions. A Cure for Wellness. Gore Verbinski will probably always be most famous for having done the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, but his best movie is actually this forgotten little gem. It is a brilliant thriller set in Switzerland, although filmed in Bavaria, but never mind about that. It is a masterclass in suspensefulness. It is visually stunning. It has great actors. It has great characters. You have to take the story with a pinch of salt, but if you can do that, if you can take that pinch of salt, you will be handled a great suspenseful movie. Ark. Ark is a Netflix movie which is a sort of Groundhog Day like scenario with a couple that has a home invasion going on for them. At the same time, this is taking place in some sort of the not too distant future, and they're trying to get out of the situation where they're being constantly killed and constantly revitalized. How are they going to survive this? And this is a truly remarkable movie. It has lots of suspense. It is an interesting and fascinating story and a unique concept, although it has been done before. Edge of Tomorrow and Groundhog Day comes into mind. I really love this small scale suspensefulness. Hush. Hush is another home invasion movie. It takes place in a small cottage somewhere in the outskirts of the civilized world, where a deaf author is being stalked by a masked man. This is basically a woman that really has, everything stacked against her. With small measurements, they're able to craft a very suspenseful and short, fast movie that never lets you go, and you're always thinking. And I love how strategic the movie is. It's great. The Magnificent Seven. The Magnificent Seven is the remake of the Yul Brynner Steve McQueen movie, which itself is a remake of the fantastic Seven Samurais. This one is actually better than the Steve McQueen version. We have a great cast with Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke, Vincent D'Onofrio. It is an epic western. The only thing that works a little bit against it is probably the fact that this one should really have been rated R. But great characters and lots of gunplay and great action set pieces. The Handmaiden. The Handmaiden is a Korean psychological thriller which is an absolutely barn burner. It is tense, it has great characters, it is breathtakingly brilliant script. It is this kind of movie where you think you know what's going on, but it's all a ruse, it's a swerve, and what a swerve it is. This is basically if Quentin Tarantino would have attempted to make a smart erotic thriller, but it is made by a South Korean filmmaker and it is set in the end of the 19th century. It is brilliant, which gives you an idea how good the movies are going to be in this list. Jesus Christ, let's go! Number 10, XMen Apocalypse. This is the first movie with superheroes on this list. It will not be the last, trust me on this one. For some reason, people seem to be unhappy with Apocalypse, and I don't know why. I think Oscar Isaac is great as Apocalypse. We have all our favorite mutants back for another showdown with the Blue Threat. We have an absolutely great story arc for Magneto. We have an absolutely killing thing with Quicksilver that is great. We have superb action sequences. We have lots of great actors. Well, we have Jennifer Lawrence, James McAvoy. We have Michael Fassbender. All of them delivering great stuff. We have a super menacing villain. We have great action sequences. We have a compelling story. Granted, this is not as good as, let's say, First Class or Days of Futures Past, but for what it is a truly remarkable movie. And it is just living proof that Bryan Singer really is one of the greatest comic book directors of all time. Number 9, Sausage Party. Sausage Party is a 3D animated comedy about food products. It is basically a Toy Story but with food products. Who believes that the humans are gods and they will, if they buy them, they will be sent to heaven, which they are not. This movie is brutal, man. When they start eating the characters, this is just amazing. It is funny and it is, gross at the same time. This movie just are stuffed to the brim with extremely vulgar humor, and within 10 minutes if you're either gonna love this movie or hate this movie. I kind of hard to see that there will be in-betweeners for this one, because let's face it, we have so many jokes that break so many taboos in this one that is amazing. This is the funniest movie I have seen for a couple of years. It is the greatest movie I've seen since Inside Out, and yeah, maybe the biggest. This is by far the biggest surprise of all of 2016. Also, it has to be mentioned, we have some amazing voice actors: Kristen Wiig, Salma Hayek, Seth Rogen, Michael Cera, Edward Norton. They're all great, and the characters are so great. And the animations are fantastic. And I didn't know I wanted an R-rated animated movie that much. Number 8, Captain America: Civil War. Civil War is a very different movie from other Marvel movies, because people have been complaining that the Marvel movies lacks good villains, and that is in some case more true than ever in this one. But this is not about them versus a villain who wants to take over the world. This is about the implosion of the Avengers, and you can see both Cap's side and Iron Man's side. And they shot at Leipzig airport. The sequence with Bucky, Cap, Black Panther versus a SWAT team of German police officers. It just goes on and on and on. It's just great, amazing action sequences going on and on and on. And I just love the last confrontation in Siberia. Sure, you can poke fun at some stuff that doesn't really make any sense, but I prefer not to do that. I prefer to view this movie pure and simple as a fantastic comic book movie. You can make the argument that it could have used a little bit more humor, but for my money, I don't need that in just this particular movie, because this was a serious one. Number 7, The Accountant. Somehow I think this movie began as a bet. A couple of producers sat down one day and said, I'll make a bet for you. I'll bet that you can make a movie about an accountant that is an assassin and an absolute badass. I'm taking it. This is an odd movie in a sense. It's not based on a book that I know of. It is not, based on a franchise or anything. It just is a great old school thriller. They got Ben Affleck's best performance ever out of this one. And if that wasn't cool enough, we have J.K. Simmons and John Lithgow in the same movie. Good stuff. We also have not 1, not 2, but 3 swerves in the same movie. That's very unusual for a 2010-ish movie from Hollywood. Good work there. It is a fascinating story. It's an unpredictable story. It has a lot of twists and turns. It has great performances, and you're always interested in what's going to happen next because you have no idea about that. Number 6, Doctor Strange. This was exactly what I needed after the, huge movie that was Captain America: Civil War. This was Marvel on a lower scale. It was fewer characters, but then you have Benedict Cumberbatch making what I consider the best Marvel character of all time. I just love Doctor Strange, which is sort of a combination between Batman and Dr. House. He is absolutely fantastic. The visuals are absolutely amazing. It is the best 3D movie I've ever seen. It is mind-bending how amazing this one is. This is also one of the first time I think Marvel has done a movie under 2 hours. It's fast, it's great. It has, sure, it's another origin story, but Doctor Strange is just such a fascinating and great character, and it is so creative, all of these things they're doing. The biggest strength of the movie is probably all this creativity that goes into this one. Of course, Benedict Cumberbatch is killing it as Doctor Strange. He's one of my favorite actors. He has a great bunch of supporting characters, and dare I say it, he has the best fight with the main villain in the entirety of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You heard me. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Number 5, Rogue One. After Star Wars The Force Awakens showed us that you can make Star Wars movies that are good again, I would say that expectations was high on Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, which it was also called. How did the rebellion obtain the plans for the Death Star? They didn't do it by asking politely. That we know. This is a great space adventure. It has lots of... I love the fact that this is not a question of, black and white, because everything is more gray. This one is not as good as The Force Awakens, but it delivers a solid space adventure with characters that are a bit more complex than your usual Star Wars movie, and that I really like. It could maybe have used a little bit more humor, but maybe the situation was a bit too grim for it to work. We have great space battles, but the best things are the ground battles we see. We haven't seen that much a lot of ground battles in the Star Wars movies, not since the Battle of Hoth in Empire Strikes Back. Great characters. We had and dare I say it, in Rogue One we had the greatest droid in Star Wars history. This guy, he is the best. There I also say that we had the greatest moment with Darth Vader in the history of time, redeeming everything horrible that happened to him in the prequels. Jesus Christ, that was amazing. Super entertaining, but it is the end. But it is the last 20 or 25 minutes that elevates it from great to absolutely great. Yes! Why? You know why. Number 4, The Nice Guys. A couple of weeks ago I made my regular review of The Nice Guys, so I will be mostly going over old ground with this one. If you haven't watched it, it's great. You can see me turn into a snowman. But I'll say this. Razor sharp dialogue, absolutely ice cold characters, an interesting story, and the best performance by Russell Crowe for 15 years, you heard me. Number 3, Deadpool. But Doctor Strange wasn't the best comic book movie made in 2016. That belongs to a certain wisecracking Deadpool. I can't believe that there is one person living on this planet that prefers this Deadpool to this Deadpool. The wisecracking, fourth wall breaking anti-hero he's just great. I don't need to tell you what's so great about this. It mocks the very idea of what a comic movie should be. Ryan Reynolds is absolutely amazing. All of these in-jokes are great. This is just entertainment at its absolute highest level. All the other comic book movies that came out this year looked a little bit, nah, in comparison to this one. But it didn't start out that way. First time I saw it, I wasn't really feeling the hype. This was the second time that I really, got hooked for this one. At this recording, it is 1 month approximately until Deadpool 2 arrives. Did I like it? In one movie, Ryan Reynolds could turn around and just became everybody's favorite again. How odd is that? Number 2, Hacksaw Ridge. Hacksaw Ridge took the idea of a war movie and turned it on its head, and made it into one of the most compelling stories of the decade, and made the best war movie of all time. Also, it's a shame that Andrew Garfield didn't get an Oscar for his performance as Dobbs, because he's fantastic. You're behind him every step of the way. It was a long time ago that I was presented with a character that I was so behind as this one. I felt like I want to stand behind him and say, yes, you go, you tell them, Dobbs, you tell them. The story about a medic in the World War II and during the Battle of Okinawa could have been really cliched, and we have some cliches, yes we do. It doesn't take long before you totally forget them, and then you're just in for an emotional and very, very gruesome movie, because let's face it, this movie made Saving Private Ryan look like a disagreement at best, because holy shit, this was bloody and you really felt like you were in the battle. This was an uncompromisable movie. Is that a word? Uncompromisable? And this was an uncompromisable movie, which proves once again that Mel Gibson is one of the best directors of all time, maybe not the best human of all time. And number 1, Arrival. I love science fiction movies. And I love, the contact with aliens. But all of them are reserved for movies, with lots of, soldiers and guns and spaceships and battles and stuff like that. And yes, I love that too, but I would like to see how they would do it in a serious way. So when Denis Deneville decided to do this movie, it came out of nowhere and just it's a fantastic story. It is. And this is what I think that an encounter with aliens would look like. This is just amazing. Great characters, great story. It's fascinating to see how they interact, because this is a movie when they try to talk to the aliens, not shoot at them. It's amazing what they can do. This is how to build suspense. This is how to build atmosphere. This is how to build tension and unpredictability, and the greatest swerve in 10 years. Seriously, this script is so worked through. It is so efficient, and it just works. The best thing about it is that apparently different people see, the big twist at different points in the movie. I personally saw it very late, apparently, because I said like, huh? No, you gotta be kidding me. And the music is great. It has great music, it has great atmosphere. This is one of the best movies of the entire decade. It's fascinating, it has great performances, and I don't know what to say beside, if you haven't seen Arrival, hang your head in shame and go and fucking see it. This is one of the best movies of the decade. If aliens ever would arrive at the Earth, I think this is what it would look like, and this is how it would feel. The best part of this movie is almost the beginning, when you sort of see how people react to this thing. It's amazing. So that was the top 10 2016 movies. Have you all seen them? Like, share, subscribe, join the Vikstrand tribe. This is the Vikstrand signing out.